Well, we would see them going towards that pretty quick.
We see both of them start at Link's house.
So we got Weighty and g3rd0 both going to farm some bombs. Weighty, unfortunately, doesn't get lucky on his first pass. g3rd0 gets one.
One of the things about these races is they actually tend to make it a little bit more challenging to do rupee and bomb routing, just because you're not picking up as many random chests. The collection rate on these races tends to be in the 50 to 60 range rather than the 100 or more that you would see in a normal sea.
So we got the runners coming into CAC. They've got a couple items they're going to pick up.
Yeah, grabbing a few more free bombs out of here.
So g3rd0 did pick up some rupees early, 300, and he grabbed a heart container from the vendor. We'll usually see these runners pick up a few heart containers. Obviously, you don't want to go through the seat with just 3. And there is the flute, one item that they are going to need very early.
Yeah, one of the most convenient places to find the flute. You can just walk over and activate it right after.
Just dropping down to grab that heart container and nothing else.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how much a safety is worth, like how far you go out of your way. I actually expect as we get further into this tournament that feeling probably the pressure of the increased competition, they're going to start cutting out more and more safeties to save time.
So one thing we do expect these runners to both do is hit Death Mountain pretty early. But they actually do need to go pick up something else first.
Yep, we get synced bird activations.
So they're coming in here. There's one nice thing that they do need to pick up outside here. And there is their first sword. So as we were looking through things before the race, we did notice a few things. Not sure how much we want to say so far.
Oh, I think we'll save some of it back. We already know the next major step they want to take. But getting a sword early is kind of nice. There have been some of these spoiler seeds where it's 15, 20 minutes and they haven't even gotten fighter sword yet.
Okay. And so now we've got Weighty coming over to the eastern area. Same with g3rd0.
Yeah, and it looks like they're heading into Eastern proper rather than for the old man's house. So far they've the early route's been pretty much identical. Some slight differences in picking up the bottle vendor, but that's about it. Gerdo's also gotten a little bit of extra money.
So we do have a crystal palace here. Obviously, they obviously they need to come in here to finish this. So they don't have the bow yet. So either we're getting the bow in here, or they're gotta get something else from here. Well, there's our master sword, and they leave right away.
Yeah, both of them went ahead and grabbed the big key, so they won't need to get it later, but they didn't actually have to yet.
And they're going, and Weighty's going straight for the palace. That's interesting. We have g3rd0 diverging here.
Yeah, Weighty's going to go up towards the sewers, heading for the dark crossroom.
Okay, g3rd0's grabbing a bottle.
Gets the bottle and heads straight for some sick kid.
Okay, so Weighty went straight to the back, got his hook shot. g3rd0, though, decides he needs the lamp, so he went and grabbed that. Now, depending on how the seed goes early, some of these runners might not even care for that lamp, but others, if they know they need a fire source. So this is very interesting that g3rd0 grabbed the lamp and Weighty did not, because that put g3rd0 a little bit behind Weighty.
Yeah, but even if you can do the dark rooms, doing the dark rooms is going to be a little bit slower usually.
Weighty grabs his moon pearl. And we've got a fire rod, and he's out.
Yeah, also picks up some extra bombs. That was almost certainly just to fill on them since it was right there.
We got Weighty at the back at Link's house. Gonna flute away again. And okay, he's coming over towards Zora. He's gonna do a fake flipper. What's he got planned right now? Well, that moon pearl, he can go into fake flipper state. So if he knows there's something in Waterfall Cave.
Yeah, he doesn't have the 500 for Zora, unlike g3rd0, but he can get into here.
Oh, he went there and grabbed a bottle. Interesting. Okay, and so he's gonna go grab the lamp now, too. So that's interesting how the two racers picked a different bottle. Weighty went for the one for the fake flipper. g3rd0 went for the one in the Lost Woods.
Yeah, now the fake flipper probably was slower, but it did come filled. The one in the Lost Woods was empty. Weighty got a green potion out of it.
But that actually puts them back. I don't think, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think it was that much of a difference between the two. But yeah, now we're going to see them both go for. Looks like they're both going for the climb now.
Yeah, I definitely don't blame either of them for wanting to have the lamp for this, even if they're comfortable with this room. If it's just as easy as grabbing a bottle and talking to the sick kid to not have to deal with these dark rooms.
Oh, this is interesting. So Weighty grabbed that bottle, fills his magic. He's going to be able to fire rod these guards. This is going to get him through this room faster. So that was a very nice move by Weighty. Actually, no, at the end of the day, it was not any faster. But Weighty still does have that fire rod for more shots as he goes up.
Yeah, the speed he gained within the room was lost just waiting for the magic bar to refill. But he's now got 6/8 of a bar of magic.
Yeah, I expect he'll save those shots for. It's either the 5th or 6th. I think it's the 4th. It's the 5th floor, I believe, where the lights come back on and you've got a bunch of red guards to take out. As much as I've played this game, I don't remember the floor numbers off the top of my head.
I think it's the 6th floor, but I might be wrong.
No, it's the 5th. They're on the 4th right now. So these next few rooms are where Weighty's probably going to gain his advantage, because he's going to just have 6 fire rod shots and he's got 6 guards to take out. Actually, only needs to take out 5, but yeah. Oh, they actually did about that room about the same. Yeah, between the two of them, it was actually pretty even. And they are almost synced. That was actually synced going up those stairs. Oh, Weighty falls, and g3rd0's gonna get to Aga first.
Yeah, just stunning these guards with the hookshot ends up being a lot faster than trying to kill them.
I think I did see that. Did g3rd0 pick up the boomerang? I thought I saw him use the boomerang.
No, I believe he used a hookshot stun.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 15 blue balls before it comes start. That's always my guess, even though it's incredibly unlikely. A 2 for 2 so far.
I think that's 3. I was actually wondering if the spoiler log told us how many blue balls they get, but no, that's not one of the pieces of information we get from the spoiler log.
5 for 5. I'm so happy right now. 6 for 6.
Okay. Okay, or 7. 8. What is this? This is really annoying for these runners.
Aw.
Okay, there's the first blue ball that could have been blue ball. It wasn't.
That knocks it all the way down to 12 at most.
We got finished with 8. So yeah, the chances of 8 in a row, basically 1 to 2 to the 8th.
Yep, 1 in 256.
Yep. Girdle's gonna pick up some bombs here. So which way are these runners gonna go as they get into the Dark World? Let's watch.
It'll be interesting to see what routing decisions they make from here. There's actually a few interesting choices now.
Yeah. They do not have a glove yet, so they have to go. They need the hammer. So hammer and hookshot is basically required to get across that river, though at the same time they also did need the hookshot to get to Eastern Death Mountain for their Moon Pearl and that fire rod.
Yeah, these are the sorts of things that are in the new player rando FAQ because they don't come up playing vanilla.
Yeah, that actually can be a very tricky thing if you are expected to get through with flippers and flippers and hookshot, because a lot of new runners don't know that route. But basically, you can get around that with flippers. And both runners going into Skull Woods, they're going straight to the back. Yeah, we're gonna see a 6-heart Master Sword Mothula, it looks like.
Yeah, Gerdo's got 7. They probably will have some fire rod shots, and they could use the hammer if either of them prefers that over Master Sword somehow.
And for this fight, it is kind of runner preference. Master Sword and hammer, it really just is, what do you feel better about? So this is where we can start to see some of the execution really step in. But the fact that they're going for this early, it could just be a routing decision. We'll see. Depending on what else, if they're going for anything else in here.
Yeah, Weighty kind of fights with the zombie with the key for a little bit before getting a full magic drop anyway.
Ooh, Weighty with the full magic bard makes quick work with the Mothula. Gerdo not far behind. There's their first crystals. And it looks like our tracker did mark all of our dungeons, in case anybody's curious. That was a 5-6 as well.
Yep, we see that also our pendant requirements. Quake for Misery Mire, which is a crystal, and Ether for Pendant Turtle Rock.
Man, that's interesting. That Skullwoods Thieves Town alignment. 2 red crystals.
Yeah, both our runners staying right on each other's tracks. Very tight race so far.
Yep, they're going into the Village of Outcasts next. Oh, they're going in the C-shape house. We've got some silver arrows.
Those will be deeply nice once they get the bow. Basically the best damage upgrade in the game for anything that they can hurt at all.
And that was a very quick stop for them, so not surprised either grabbed that. Ooh, they grabbed the small key.
Yeah, in that chest, it's actually not a giveaway as to whether they won't need the big chest or not, because it can be faster than going all the way to the near the ball stream for that key.
Weighty grabs the big key, and g3rd0 decides to take a quick extra couple 2 room transitions to grab a green bottle. So early on, g3rd0's been grabbing a few more safeties. The only real difference between them is the first bottle they grabbed. Weighty grabbed a green potion bottle that he's already used.
Yeah, that and a heart container are kind of the major differences at this point. And they get the slow walk up the hallway.
With green mail, you got to be careful around these crickets. They do 2 hearts of damage. You have the hook shot, you can one-shot them. Oh, there's our bow. So bow and silver is really close to each other in this seed.
Yeah, not that useful in the dungeon we find it in, but very nice to have for the rest of the seed.
So they're both going still pretty close on each other. Oh, they have no glove. They have to kill the enemies.
Yeah, Weighty briefly forgets that and then realizes it pretty quick.
So g3rd0 goes right, Weighty goes here. What's in the something in the big chest? That's definitely something.
Yeah, g3rd0 grabbing the maiden's chest also. I'm not sure why. I may have just forgotten which one was which.
So Weighty likes to grab the boots first. g3rd0's gonna grab them after. Weighty's gonna leave here a little bit ahead again. This race has been interesting. It's been back and forth between the two of them.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any point yet where it was more than maybe 15 seconds apart.
Right, next up, we have the blind fight. This is pretty standard.
Although the pun, I believe, is spoiler race specific.
And so that's the second crystal. That is both red crystals as well.
Yeah, between Boots' bow and that bottle with a green potion, a pretty loaded Thieves' Town.
Both coming into the brewery to grab another heart container. And both heading towards that dig game. So there's something at the dig game they want.
Yeah, unlike the blue ball count, the number of digs you need actually is in the log, so they'll know how long they're here.
And there's Arcana Samaria, which we do need for at least Meyer. And there's the sea. That was a pretty nice Thieves' Town. They got boots and bow from it. And Weighty keeps forgetting he doesn't have gloves.
And g3rd0 made a feint that way too. I don't blame him. It's very rare to be this far into a non-inverted seat and not have gloves.
Weighty's going for Hype Cave, and so is g3rd0. Okay. Looked like for a second g3rd0 was heading up towards the bomb shop, but decided against. Weighty grabs a piece of heart. Not really a time difference there. Oh, they grabbed blue mail. This is something we were both wondering about in the spoiler log, is if they would grab a mail upgrade. That one wasn't too far out of the way, but we weren't sure if they would go for it.
As soon as I saw them going, 5-10 seconds out of their way for heart containers, I was pretty sure they would get that one.
And they know something's it's the Pyramid Fairy. So going for those bread crystals early is something they absolutely wanted to do. Weighty pulls off a nice little trick he can do to get the bomb to respawn. That gives him a few extra seconds over g3rd0. So what have we got in the pyramid that they need to get? A book.
Well, that's currently our desert access. It also gets us access to the ether tablet. Doesn't get us access to Bombos yet because we don't have the mirror.
And Weighty is running to Pod? Weighty's gonna dive a pendant dungeon. We've got something interesting in here. Yeah, we know we're going to get the mirror at some point because we have Swamp as a required crystal. So we know that's going to come in at some point. But the question is that book... Could the mirror maybe be in Desert? They both go downstairs, grab a key. No mirror, they gotta do this a little more normally. But without the mirror, routing Pod can be a little more difficult. Now, the good news for the runners, of course, is they have the spoiler log, so they know how to route it.
Yeah, I mean, even just from what we've seen so far, this would be a treat as a blind race.
Oh, definitely. Having to go for Aga. Especially considering they had to make... I think they had to make that dive into Eastern to get a sword, knowing they couldn't complete it. Unless the cape was somewhere and they just elected not to go for that. They're going straight for Helmassar? So they both grab the big key, and they're going straight for the boss.
Simultaneous cutscenes. The sync is real.
So we might find out some pretty big information on this seed based on what Helmassar has. If Helmassar has nothing, I think that's a pretty big clue on what this seed is.
Silver arrow to finish it off from WeightyWords, and let's see what we get.
We get the mirror.
Yeah, there was no.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, there was no routing pod with mirror today.
So yeah, you did have to come in here. So that doesn't. So at least at a minimum, you did have to come for that. So that was a required dip. Doesn't say anything else about our other pendant dungeons yet, though. But it is a nice place to pick up the mirror, because now they can go and finish Eastern. So this is about as nice as Eastern's going to get for you. You've got silver arrows. This will be a very quick Armos fight coming up.
Yeah, I do think they would have been marginally better off not picking up the big key the first time they came in, because they have both hookshot and boots now, and they went the long way around for it before. But it's not a huge difference.
Yeah, fair. Also, though, with them picking up that mirror, that means that book was not needed for our desert access. g3rd0 gets through this room pretty fast. Pulls ahead of Weighty again. So looking through the items we still need to see them pick up, we need to see them pick up both gloves, flippers, at least the Quake medallion.
Yeah, they're about to clear their third crystal and have no gloves, so that's a treat.
Oh, now they have a glove. So Weighty flutes to 4, whereas g3rd0's also fluting to 4. Actually, we don't know yet what we need for desert, because we still can't flute in the Mire area yet.
Right, but we've got book access. Desert should be clearable at this point.
Yeah, and they are actually they're routing in Bombo's tablet. So this is actually pretty nice routing. You can go from Bombo's straight into deserts. Pick up whatever you need here, go right into desert after that. Or you get your other glove. So there was what they needed the book for.
I mean, like I said, they needed the book for their desert access.
You are right, yeah. We needed the book regardless. And, okay, it's interesting. Gerdo's going for checkerboard cave. Weighty's just going straight into desert. There's our cape. So that means that sword... They did have to absolutely make a double dip into Eastern. But it's interesting that Gerdo grabbed that cape. Well, let's see if Weighty grabs the cape after he's done in deserts.
Yeah, it's only required if there's something on Bumper Cave, but, you know, it's a nice safety regardless.
Yeah, especially on Ganon. We still don't know what they're going to go in with just yet. They have what they need to kill Ganon. You can do Master Sword Silverless, or Silvers, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, grabbing that cape puts Weighty ahead.
Yep, I assume we're about to see silver strats on Landmo. Always fun.
But yeah, 3 arrows, you can take the landmos down really quick. Oh, Landmo getting a little bit away from Weighty.
Yeah, that makes up some of the time that he had gained by not picking up the cape.
So, we still have 3 crystals. We need Hera, Swamp, and Mire. At a minimum, we still need Quake and those flippers. Weighty is going back to the Dark World. Oh, he is going to pick up the cape. So both of them picking up the cape might be an indicator that they do need it for something. Back up to Death Mountain.
Well, Hera's the only one of their 3 remaining crystals they can currently clear.
Yeah, Gerdo's having a bit better time climbing this mountain, so he pulls ahead again. They're doing both tablets. And there's our Quake medallion. So, both tablets required in this seed.
with the book on Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, that was one of the things we did notice in the early going, that exactly how you had to route this pretty early. Having to do both Swamp, or the Skull Woods and Thieves Town to get to that book so you could get one of your gloves and Quake.
Yeah, runners might be missing the bug from the previous version of the randomizer where the tablets couldn't have progression.
Yeah, that can be a little bit annoying to get to. But as you mentioned, they were able to come up here anyway because they have to do Hera, so... Now, they could have also elected to hold on Hera until right before GT if there was nothing else in here. Alright. Gerdo, Weighty both have Moldorm down, 5th Crystal.
Yeah, g3rd0 used a combination of hammer and master sword spins there that was really, really well executed.
Stepping back into Dark World. Oh. So this must be what they wanted the cape for. Yeah, and there are our flippers. So, in terms of the seed, that is our go mode. The only question really that remains here is, do they want another sword?
I'm sure they would like another sword. It's just a matter of how far are you willing to go for it.
But yeah, in all likelihood, we are not going to see either of them dip into Ice or Turtle Rock at this point. Though, Weighty is grabbing a potion. So just going to grab some safety, which g3rd0 is electing not to do. Weighty had just enough rupees for that potion, too. But grabbing that potion will give g3rd0 a little more time.
Yeah, and he already had a very slight lead. Still pretty close. Basically just a couple mirror transitions away at this point.
So consider, unless a sword is right off the path in here, I believe we're going to see them both just go straight for Argus.
That does seem likely, and while they're flipping switches and waiting on water to fill out, let's give a shout out to both of these runners. They've been putting on a great close race so far, so give WeityWords and g3rd0 a follow. Also, stay tuned because they'll have another great race right after this one.
Yep, g3rd0's going straight to the back. So, Grotto not picking up anything. There's nothing he's interested in on the way to Argus.
Yeah, Master Sword Argus. I always like watching runners who are better than me do those.
So, Master Sword Argus, is a little tougher with Master Sword. Not terribly tougher. You'd like to have Tempered for this fight. But the only difference between Master is that it takes 2 slashes per puff, or 1 spin. And it's a runner preference thing.
No magic, so instead of Fire Rod, he's going to go for the Silver Arrow, possibly. And gets it.
Alright, so Gerdo's got it down. WeightyWords is also doing his slashes. Just have to do Mire, which with Silvers and Bow, Vitreous will become a pincushion.
And they've got Lamp for Dark Rooms, which both of them would probably be fine without, but it never hurts to have them.
Oh, Gerdo is going to pick up a potion now. Now, this could be one of those cases where the runners watching each other kind of helps decide what they do.
Yeah, he couldn't know he has a slight lead there, and just choose to get the extra safety. Also, could be a pretty strong indicator we're not going to see anything past Master Sword.
I think I can give a small little thing here. Say that we do know there is another potential sword for them to grab. The question is, will they go for it?
I will just say I would be actively very surprised if either of them goes for it. That said, I'm capable of being surprised.
We've got Gerdo. He's going to use the cape in here. This is another nice room to have the cape for. Not required, but when the big key's there and you only have 8 hearts, yeah, it's kind of nice to not have to lose all your hearts grabbing it.
Yeah, no powder to get the easy refill. That might be why they chose to get potions as well.
So yeah, I think as we're coming on, I think we could actually maybe start talking about some of these lesser spoilers now. Things that we know they won't be getting.
Yeah, I think the most obvious one is where the sword that we're 100% certain they won't be getting is.
Yep, there is one sword in Turtle Rock, and we absolutely know they're not going for that one. In terms of the powder, that was also in Turtle Rock. So, a couple safeties in there. We also know they needed to grab the cape because Berna is in GT.
Yeah, they didn't necessarily have to. You can get through that room just with potions, but that's kind of miserable. But now it's time for everybody's favorite game, the big key guessing game, as they lift up their 7th crystals. We aren't doing it the usual way for this tournament, so don't put a number in because our runners know where it is, so it's likely to be very low. Instead, we need a specific chest location. We did actually look for this one. Normally, I try to avoid it, but because of some of the things going on in this seed, we actually took a glance there, so I won't be taking part in it.
Yeah, same. I will not. I know where it is as well. I'm not going to mention anything. But as we're going to GT, g3rd0 has a small lead. Now they are coming through Super Bunny Cave. If there's something in one of these Super Bunny chests, they could elect to grab it. Nope, guess not. With the hammer pegs not nailed down already, it's potential that this is just the faster preferred route for them. With only Master Sword, they got to be careful going by those Lionels because Master Sword will not damage the Lionels as when you're dashing. g3rd0 will get into GT first.
So here's at 52:20 on his timer.
And g3rd0's going left, but has that mirror out. Grabs one key.
So less than a 20-second difference at this point.
Yeah. So g3rd0 went left, grabs 2 keys, and it's going right. Of course, in addition to the big key on the climb, you also do need a small key. You can get a second climb as you're going up. So they went left, grabbed 2 keys, they're going right.
Yeah, but they just dashed straight through tile room, so no tile room fun today. It's not that bad in a spoiler race, though, anyway.
There's another small key, and there's their big key. So, compass room on the right in the bottom right chest. They both have their big key. They're both climbing. So at this point, it's pretty much execution based the rest of the way. Both of them do have a blue potion for their climb. They're both a decent shape with arrows. Weighty's a little lower than you'd like to be, but he still has enough.
Yeah, and at this point, I think we can spoil. They're both going to be on Master Sword. The last sword was behind Ice Armor.
Yes, we're going to see Master Sword Silvers coming up here. That was the other sword we weren't sure if they'd go for. It was significantly out of the way, so neither of us did expect them to go for it. But wouldn't have been a complete surprise if they had. I think that's that sort of case where if one of them had a significant lead going into this, they'd go for it. But with it so close, they've got to just go with Master Sword Silvers.
Yeah, if they didn't have silver arrows, one of them might have gone for it as well. Master Sword Silverless is not a ton of fun.
Girdle's holding on to that lead as we're continuing to climb. And that is the other thing that is nice going to be having that cape for, is it helps with Master Sword Ganon a little bit. You can get some more double spins if he aligns properly. Also, just to kind of mention something based on chat, it is up to the runners whether or not they want to watch their opponent. They're allowed to, but they can choose not to if they don't really want to know.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are like paying super close attention, but just being able to glance up and see the relative position. And it's just kind of a nice difference from a normal rando race where you aren't allowed to do that.
I think that might have been a little bit of a mistake by g3rd0 grabbing that chest. Oh, that's a nice spot for half magic. Didn't even need to grab the refill in the second to in that second to last chest room. Which is exactly what Weighty's going to avoid doing. He's only at 3.5 hearts. g3rd0 is at 7, and there's no more chances to recover hearts at this point unless you want to go grab the fairy right below the pyramid before facing Ganon.
Yeah, but I believe he's still got that blue potion and also half magic plus cape.
Yeah, the one thing that is an issue with Blue Mail is if you take a Ganon hug, that's 4 hearts. So at 3.5, you got to be a little more careful. g3rd0 has a little bit of room for error on Ganon, because at 5.5 hearts, he can safely take at least one hit. But yeah, g3rd0's been pulling a little bit further ahead, and he's going to get into Ganon first. Has that cape out. Apparently, we have some different spoiler text as well for these matches.
Yes, if you want to try out a spoiler seed yourself, join the Spoiler Tournament Discord and use the practice command.
I believe we got 9 hits so far for g3rd0. Nope, I was a little off my count. Unfortunately, it doesn't get a nice position, so it's going to at least be a 2-cycle phase 2. But that's a really good position there, so it should just be a 2-cycle. So g3rd0's on phase 3. Just one more spin to get to phase 4, and you need 4 silver arrows.
Gets the torch glitch. Nice.
2 more arrows. And a double to finish it off. And g3rd0 officially finishes in first place with a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, 38 seconds, which includes 15 minutes of spoiler time. But yeah, we can talk about some of the things that were required in this seed at this point. Well, actually, let's wait for Weighty to finish first.
Yeah, just about done here. There's his fourth hit. Get your GGs in chat for WeightyWords. As he finishes with an official time of 1:16:26. About 50 seconds difference between the runners.
So, I don't believe we're going to be doing any interviews because they are doing a back-to-back. So, they're going to start setting up for their second race here pretty quick. But yeah, we can talk about some of the things that are required in this seed. So, a double dip of Eastern was required to get that Master Sword to do Aga. Let's see, what else?
The book was behind Pyramid Fairy, and both tablets were required.
Yep. You did have to make a dip into a pendant dungeon and dependent pod.
Not just a
And
dip.
you just had to...
You had to clear it.
Yeah, you just had to kill Helmasaur and leave. As we said, the other 2 swords that I did not grab were, one was in the big chest of Turtle Rock, the other was behind Ice Armos.
Turtle Rock also had the powder. I saw somebody in chat asking for that one. So yeah, this one would have been a pretty amazing seed blind. These spoiler races tend to be in like the 55-minute range. The fact that it pushed it past an hour says a lot about it.
Oh, we also had that 8 blue ball Aga.
Yeah, we were over halfway to the 15. Oh well.
The other armor, if they wanted it, was in the sewers. It was actually in the back of Escape in the right chest, which we weren't sure about early too, if they were going to go for that armor or if they were going to go for the Hype Cave armor.
But yeah, that was a really excellent race. Coming up, we're going to let the runners have a break, and then they'll have a 15-minute study period, but they're going to be able to start their other race before terribly long. If I had to guess, after the credits finish rolling here, it'd be about 20 to 30 minutes.
Yep, so they will be doing race 2. WeightyWords will have to win to force the game 3, or g3rd0 can win to advance to the round of 8. I'm just taking a look through the spoiler log again to see if there's anything else. The early routing too, you had to grab the flute from Kakariko, then you had to go into the escape. Actually, you had to grab the flute and the lamp from Kak, go into escape to grab the hook shot, so you go across Death Mountain to get the Moon Pearl and the Fire Rod. So after killing Aga, you could do Skullwoods and Thieves Town to get access to the Pyramid Fairy for the book.
Yeah, the logic on this one, it actually kind of forced a more linear route most of the way through. That part of why they were like on top of each other the whole way. But the logic on it is convoluted in a lot of ways. I don't think they sequence broke anything too bad in this one. There was a fake flipper for a bottle, but there was a bottle accessible without that.
Yeah, fake flipper for bottle. As I said, there was the bottle accessible. Weighty did do a dark room to get his hook shot, but the lamp was available at that point, so not a sequence break. Yeah. Ice Rod was in Skullwoods if they had wanted to go for it. That was easy enough to get to.
Yeah, but there was really no reason to kill Trinex, so no reason to carry that.
Yeah. And if in case anyone was curious, I know that people like to know where the net was. The net was in GT in the Hope Room on the right. So they passed it right up. Not surprising, of course, but...
I mean, they could have gone for the expert mode, AGA 2.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for... in terms of anything interesting would have been to find.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'll see here in a few minutes, but I'm guessing we're actually going to have pretty low collection rates all told, even though they grabbed a fair number of safeties.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what that is. Should see it here in a minute or so. Also, before I forget as well, make sure to give these runners a follow. They will be doing another race right after this. They are both taking a 5-minute break. Then we're going to get the next. We're going to get the next spoilers out. Also, want to give a shout out to our tracker. I actually want to make sure I get their name right.
I believe it was Dimensive, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep, Dimensive. Next up, we do have our second game of our doubleheader. We straight here on Speed Gaming 2. James FNX and Math Girl will be on commentary with literally Jen on tracking.
Well, as we wait on the credits to finish scrolling, anything else you want to say about the seed? Any other shout-outs you want to give there? Interviews will come after race 2, by the way.
Yes. Interviews after race 2. Ooh, we got a 61 on Gerdo's side. How does that compare on Weighty's? We'll see that in a second.
I'm guessing Weighty is going to be at about 57. I think he picked up a few less chests.
Yeah, he did. I know Gerdo had a couple missed chests there, too. He opened the wrong chest. I think that might have also been what he did in Ganon's Tower, now thinking about it. Maybe he thought the half magic was in that chest and not the post-mortem chest. Interesting. Weighty had 8 bonks compared to Gerdo's 3. There's another little source of time. Oh, 52. Wow. I did not think it was 9 fewer chests.
I didn't either, as a witness by my guess. But, all right. In that case, I'm pretty well done. But if you are, and I think we can make way for game 2 here.
Yep. So, everyone just settle in. I think they're getting their next race loaded up right now. So we're probably just over 15 minutes to the next race. So, go grab some more coffee or whatever you choose to drink. Come back and sit in for game 2.